What's going on, everybody? This is Gil here with DashClicks, and I am sitting here with Logan Hughes from Seventh Level Media, and he's calling in from New Hampshire. Is that correct?
That's correct, man. Yep.
Awesome. Okay, so let's just get right into questions regarding your agency. So, what year did you start your agency?
Yeah. So we've had our agency now for a little over 5 years. Primarily started off for social media management and kind of learned Facebook ads and Google ads and SEO. And I kind of fell in love with the whole web design part of it. So we're transitioned over the last 3 years to more of a web design agency first, and providing additional marketing services on top of that.
Okay, so that kind of goes into my next question. I was going to ask you, what are your core service offerings? So essentially fulfillment services like so marketing, like SEO and web design, stuff like that.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, so it's really website first, and then we like to get our clients on SEO or Google Ads package. So going forward. Yep.
Awesome. And is your agency niche down? And if so, what niche?
Yeah, so that's a great question. We are working a lot more with service-based businesses now. So electricians, plumbers, HVAC contractors, that whole run-of-the-mill thing. We've worked with a bunch of different niches before that, and this one seems to be a good spot for us to work in. The turnover is a lot faster for us, and we're getting a lot better results with some of the additional marketing services that we're using.
Got it. So if you're to make a recommendation to, I guess, an agency that's just starting off, you would recommend that they do that kind of like service-based industries, or is there something else that you'd actually recommend to start off? And this is not part of the question. This is me asking you.
Yeah. I mean, it really comes down to, I guess, there's so many different areas that you can, I guess, excel in, depending on what your passion and love is. We worked with a lot of coaches before in the spiritual community, and we've had some really great results there. I think in terms of, for us, the service-based industry definitely needs help in terms of websites, and they definitely need help in terms of SEO and Google Ads. So that's sort of, we can kind of do what we love and help the business owners out at the same time, making sure that we're getting some results for them.
For sure. And you mentioned website. So I've worked in the retail agency for a while, and we have service-based industries as well that we service on the retail side. And yeah, some of these people's websites, they definitely need help. So that's like, and even if you're doing, SEO for them, I mean, how good the website looks from an aesthetic standpoint can actually help in those conversions from an SEO standpoint and all that. So definitely things right there.
100%. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we don't really, if we get a client that comes in, we won't even talk about SEO until their website is completely optimized. Because as you know, if you run an SEO campaign and the website's not fully optimized, the results are not going to be there. So it's got to get one first and then move on to the next, I believe.
100%. What would you say is your biggest struggle that you've experienced within your agency?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I'm a very creative person at heart. I love to create and build websites and be hands-on. So I think what was troubling for us, and I guess my business, not troubling, but sort of something that we had to get a grasp on, was more of the business side and project management part of it. Because I'm not really business savvy, but I'm very creative. So I had to find someone and recently train them up to become that project manager and really kind of take over that financial business side of the operations, where that can sort of allow me to kind of be free within the business and come up with some high level ideas and be more part of that creative process. That was probably the biggest struggle so far, but we're luckily getting there and making sure we're getting that done right.
Nice. And you know what? I would say I'm probably the opposite, where I'm maybe not the most creative person when it comes to like things like that, but I can focus. So yeah, so you kind of have to adapt whatever you're good at.
100%.
Adapt and make yourself better at that, or get the help. But whatever, however you are, if you're creative, not creative, more business savvy, whatever, there's always a route and an option for you to do, no matter who you are and how you think. You just have to like focus and get it done, right?
For sure, yeah. I mean, I've been in this business now for, like I said, a little of 5 years. So I obviously know part of the business side and what it takes. The QuickBooks to making sure everything on an operational standpoint and being a project manager. And I absolutely hated it. So that's something that I was lucky to be able to find someone to kind of take that over, and it allows me to be that sales. I'm doing the sales solely for the company here. So that's something that I had to learn and grow into as well. But yeah, it allows me now to kind of be that creative person and be a little bit more freer within the business.
For sure. Awesome. Good stuff. What makes you stand out amongst other marketing agencies?
Yeah. Partnerships and relationships with our clients. We really focus in a lot on our communication and the ability to really become a partner within their business. I've heard horror stories from small business owners about dealing with marketing agencies, web design agencies, and they get sucked into 6 to 12 month contracts. They might be able to talk to someone on the phone for the first month, and then they're just non-existent. And that is the complete opposite of where I want to be and what our business wants to be a part of. So when we deal with clients, it's all about, how can we make this partnership last, and can we build this relationship? And, the clients that we have so far have been, with us for 3+ years. Our retention rate's really high, because we really focus in on that communication part. And that's really the big key to success for any marketing agency, I think, who's just getting started, is to really hone in on the communication factor, because so many marketing agencies don't do that and don't focus enough attention on the communication piece.
Yeah, that seems to be a recurring theme. So I've done a few calls of these already up to this point. And, the people that show that they're actually, making strides and progressing, communication is a big part of that success. So that's definitely something that I've been noticing with successful agencies.
100%. Yep. Yeah, 100%, man. So that's what's really all about, because you could have some really great results and really some good results, but that communication piece is there, and if you can build that relationship, it's just going to make everyone's lives better. On both sides of the coin.
As long as you're communicating, you mentioned results, even if the results aren't exactly what you planned them to be, as long as you're communicating that with your client, saying, hey, the results aren't there 100% right now, but we're actually working on it, we're doing this, and not just ignoring them. They'll be like, okay, I understand. At least they're communicating, at least have expectations set and all that. So definitely important from that front.
It's a great point. Yeah, being in front of the problems that are being faced is huge. We work, and this is sort of something that I am trying to offload. But what we try to do here is we obviously, with the SEO stuff that you guys are providing for us, we get monthly reports and work summary reports, which is great. But on top of that, I record really quick 5-minute Loom videos, just kind of breaking everything down from a higher level view. And that way they can kind of see my face, they can get a personal message from me and from the business itself, going over some of the good results that we're getting. And I think that's a really cool caveat for these businesses to kind of still kind of see me and hear from someone in the business.
That's a good tip, by the way, for other agency owners to take into account if you want to use that, for sure. Nice one. Do you focus on inbound or outbound prospecting methods? Sorry, do you focus on inbound or outbound prospecting methods?
Yeah, we have a lot of inbound stuff. We have been generating some really good results from a lot of organic strategies, in terms of just Facebook organic reach, and friend requesting people, your ICAs, and then making sure that your profile is optimized and so forth, and gearing the content towards the people that you're looking to get a hold of. And if they friend request you, starting some really simple conversations, through Facebook Messenger and so forth. I think in the near future here, we're going to be going to more of an outbound strategy. But definitely inbound for sure. We've had a lot of success organically, making sure that the profile is optimized and the content that we're coming out with is definitely geared towards the ICAs.
Okay, awesome. Fair enough. What's the number one prospecting strategy that gets qualified leads booked on your calendar daily?
Yeah, it's a lot of different people will say some different things here. I think that the content, we haven't had to spend any money in our agency in terms of ads for lead generation. It's been all organic. And I think that's been a pretty good testament to the strategy that we use. It's all different. You know, if it's really, I think it's really dependent on where you're at in the agency. If you're beginning, I would for sure start organically, especially if you don't have, you know, the ad budget to put in to kind of start generating leads. But organic is, I think, something that works because one, it builds your personality, it builds authority, and people actually get to see you and see the results that you're generating for the clients. It's not like you're just randomly getting hit on Facebook with a marketing agency say, hey, do you need a website? You know, if you're really going into, you know, Facebook groups and really know and honed into your ICA and what they need and their pain points, and then you post content organically on your Facebook page, your business page, and so forth, and just start having conversations, we've been able to have generate a lot of success through that sort of organic strategy.
Awesome. So your recommendation essentially for new agencies just starting off, try to get that organic leads, traffic coming in, and eventually it can lead to, you know, the inorganic stuff, running ads, stuff like that as well. So that would be your recommendation.
100%. Yeah, for sure. Because, you know, we talk a little about user experience and customer and the customer journey, right? So, you know, if someone finds you on Google, goes to your website, you know, really the second thing they do if they don't contact you is to go to your Facebook business page or your Facebook page and find out who you are. And if you haven't posted for, you know, 3 to 6 months, they're going to be wondering if you're in business. So, you know, being a business owner and talking a lot about the content and gearing that content towards, you know, for me, service-based businesses, like look at how many phone calls we generated for a contractor, you know, in this month and that type of stuff. I'm showing results, showing the web design results that we're doing. People will literally reach out to you and be like, hey, Logan, how do I get started? You know, where do I sign up? And it just makes that sales process a little bit easier because they've been following your content for who knows how long, year plus, right?
I think we might have got stuck there a little bit. I think we're frozen. Can you hear me, Logan?
Yeah, I can. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I just see your picture's frozen, but I can hear you fine. Oh, you're gone. Okay. I think all right. So essentially the next question I wanted to ask you, so essentially kind of like leads from the last question. So you go out, so in your case, you have the organic leads coming in. So you have prospects in your pipeline and all that. So once you have those prospects in your pipeline, what is the best sales tactic you use to actually close those deals? Let's say, you know, someone is on the edge, you know, and you need to close them, or maybe even not on the edge, you know, what do you do about that to close deals?
Yeah, that's a great question. What we have a lot of success in is if they are on the fence is to dive more into the pain points, making sure that they're telling us all the information that we need to sort of understand what they're going through. You know, if you get that sort of rejection where, you know, I need to talk to my wife or my spouse, or, you know, I need to think about it, that I think to us means that we haven't answered all of the questions yet for them to really feel comfortable in taking that next step. So, you know, a lot of the sales process that we go through, we ask them some questions that determine really what's happening within their business. You know, if their website isn't producing leads or phone calls, you know, how does that feel? I mean, you know, what does that mean that you're not generating, you know, an extra 20 phone calls a month for your business? You know, how does that affect you and your business or even your family? So we ask really sort of strategic questions in terms of really finding out the pain points. We recite that back to them, so we get them to say, yes, you know, this is exactly what I'm feeling and what we're going through. And then when we get to that close, it seems to help that out. So if there's a rejection at some point at the end, it's just trying to go back more and kind of poke a little bit more into what they're actually feeling, or, you know, the actual struggles that they're going, because most of the time they're just like, yeah, I just can't afford it, but there's something definitely deeper. And our goal is to kind of find out what that is, and hopefully we can alleviate that with our services. Awesome.
All good stuff. So once you go ahead and close that deal, so obviously the next point is, you know, to talk to that person, fill the work and all that. So once you actually close it and everything, how do you set proper expectations to make sure that your clients stay for a long period of time, longer than 30 days? You know, you may have 3, 6 or 12-month contracts, but let's say you don't. I mean, let's say you're on a month-to-month contract. So how do you get your clients to stay for longer than 30 days?
Yeah. Yeah, we don't have any we never had contracts in place. We're a month-to-month business, and we let the work speak for ourselves, right? So it's just sort of what we do here. So the onboarding experience after the sale is, I think, really the most important part of onboarding a new client. We also love to give them something tangible within 7 to 14 days after signing up with us. So it really depending on the services. So if it's a website design client, we love to be able to start out with the design, give them something to show them within 7 to 14 days. But the onboarding experience, the mentor that we're working with they call it Disney level onboarding experience. If you can wow them on that onboarding experience, they're gonna be like, these guys are the real deal. They're having everything laid out. It's a smooth process. We've been able to bring in our project manager. So, she's going to be the one that be able to communicate with you throughout this entire process, making sure that she's, updating you on what we're doing. Again, I think that to answer your question simply is the onboarding experience, making sure first and foremost that when they sign up with you, that it's really a smooth process. They get something tangible within the 7 to 14 days, and then it's just communication with them throughout the entire process. One thing that we do is that we give them access to our Asana board, again, depending on the services. So if it's a website design, they get access to their own Asana board where they can see really in real time the movement that we're making. If we're in the copywriting part and we're starting the design portion and then development, they get to see it and then communicating with them properly through that time. And part of the onboarding experience, or part of the onboarding that we do, we establish how much we communicate. Some business owners, they don't have time. It's once a month. And we have some business owners that are like, yeah, I would love to get in contact every week. Like, perfect. We can do that. So it's just establishing that communication and onboarding experience that really helps.
Got it. Perfect. What would you say your formula is for maximizing client retention and increasing lifetime value? Now, I know you mentioned communication is a big part of you and your agency. So I know, from that standpoint, that can definitely help in, retention and increasing that lifetime value. But anything else that you could think of besides that may help do all of those things?
Yeah, I mean, communication is one thing. Results absolutely help, right? Because if you're not generating results at all, then they're gonna be wondering what's happening. So I think it's being personal and trustworthy and honest with the client. They're not stupid, and not being over technical, because if I'm explaining what's happening with SEO, there could be 100 different variables that are happening. So coming from more of a high level view, not being over technical with it. And then I have to relate back to communication. I think communication by far for us personally has been, on top of generating some great results, is really the key factor here. And if something's happening, you nip it in the butt first and you correct it and you work to try to get them where they need to be. So yeah, should be it. Yeah.
Awesome. Fair enough. What's the most successful automation you've set up in your business that either saves you the most time or makes you the most money?
Ooh. The onboarding experience for me definitely saves me a lot of time, especially for the website end. Because right now the way we've been able to move this is where I make a sale, schedule an onboarding call with the client. My project manager hops in at that point and then takes them from there on out. They set them up with the onboarding documents, scheduling another Zoom call, talks to my lead designers, gets us on boards, any type of SOPs that we need, and following that whole entire process. Whereas I've had to do that in the past, doing that on my own. And just the project management alone, when you're juggling 5 to 10 websites a month, could be very, very time consuming. That's when you work in your business, not on your business. So the project management part and the onboarding stuff has definitely freed me up a lot more. We're moving to using, DashClicks, trying to get our team on board with the CRM that you guys have. We're still sort of dabbling and working with Go High Level, but for me, it's been an onboarding experience that's been able to kind of free us up. And I think that's been allowing us to take on more projects and scale that way.
Awesome. Okay. So onboarding, so you have it. So this is kind of like a bonus question, I guess you could say. So with that additional time essentially that you're saving with these automations specifically for you for the onboarding, what I like to say and to use with agencies is that, if you set up and you have that additional time that you don't have to, like you said, work on your business. So you have extra time to do prospecting and like sales and work on the business development and growth and scaling and all that. So anywhere that you can actually save time is a moneymaker for you essentially.
1,000. That's right. You nailed it, man. I mean, again, for us, since we're running a lot more of an organic strategy for lead generation, producing content, and I'm, sort of like a one-man show here in terms of, sales and all that good stuff. So, I have to delegate my time appropriately to be able to create content, which, does take a lot of time, setting up videos, doing videos, and, scheduling the weeks out and stuff like that. So that's in sales. I mean, sales calls are a huge thing. That's something that, I can take more of now, which is, obviously how you scale your business. So yeah, you nailed it. Yep.
Awesome. So next couple of questions I have are regarding money. So you ready for these?
Okay, let's go.
All right. What is your monthly recurring revenue?
Recurring revenue is we're hovering around 10K recurring.
Awesome. How many clients do you have, and what's the average monthly retainer they pay?
Yeah, so I think we're around 8 recurring clients. They are anywhere from 1,200 to 698 a month, depending on the services. And then, we're averaging around 5 websites a month, and those websites typically range from anywhere from 4,500 to what would be 10K for that one-time fee.
Awesome. Got it. Okay. So you mentioned you have about 10K a month in recurring. What's your realistic revenue goal that you see yourself making in 12 months from today?
Yeah, it's 250,000. I know that might be a little bit of a low ball here for us, but it'd be 250K for annual revenue. I think we have a really good chance of getting to that 500,000 mark. That would be an end goal here within the next, I guess, couple years. But this year for sure, we're definitely heading to that 250,000 mark, and then the following year we're gonna try to get to 5.
Okay, so essentially just trying to double every year.
Yep. Yeah, we're gonna definitely hit that this year and doubling from last year, and then third year in we're gonna be hitting that 500,000 mark.
Awesome. Good stuff. What do you need to change in the next 12 months for you to hit that revenue goal? What do you think?
Oh man, definitely scheduling more sales calls. That would probably be it. We have personally our team where we're able to handle the fulfillment thanks to you guys and some of the stuff, the people that we're using for the web design stuff. So we have the fulfillment in order. I think we have a good team in terms of the project manager and some of the other pieces that are taking care of some of the other roles here. So yeah, for me it would be it's more sales calls. Let's really try to get as many calls as we can get in for the week. Maybe even starting some outbound stuff and go from there. So,
and that's typically a question I like to ask. I mean, as long as you are aware that there's something you can do to improve as an agent, no matter if you're just starting from scratch or you're pulling $1 million, $2 million a year, whatever, maybe wherever you are, as long as you see that there's room for growth and improvement, you can grow more.
Oh yeah.
You can generate more revenue. You can do all that stuff. So that's kind of like the purpose of that question.
Yep. Yeah. 100%.
If you had to start, final question, if you had to start from zero, how long do you think it would take you to get where you are now? And what's one thing you would do differently if you can go back and start from zero?
Yeah, that's another great question. If I started from scratch, I probably would be I'd be able to get up and running within a month and start making money. Before we had a team doing the web design stuff, I was in the web design sort of area now for years prior. So I have the ability to do everything in terms of website design on that sort of creative point, and then linking everything up, making sure it works. So I could easily start selling websites right off the bat, and I know my work is great. So we're talking anywhere from 3K to 4,500 a piece just to kind of get started and start building from there. So yeah, it'd probably take me about a month to kind of get back up and running. If I had to sort of previous, 5 years ago, if I was just getting started, I would immediately look for someone who could help me design and develop the websites. Because back in the day when I was doing this myself, I could only handle about 3 websites a month, could not scale it. And that's really where I was kind of choked up there for a good year or so, being like, this isn't working. I can't get to that marker of monthly revenue that I want to hit. So finding someone, luckily, that was able to kind of handle 99% of my workload on that part, since that's the main focus of our business, was a huge help. Now 99% of the work that we're doing is getting sent to my design team, and they're handling that, which is great. So that's been able to kind of help us scale going forward.
That's another recurring theme that I've also noticed with other agencies, that when they started, they were doing all the work themselves. So it hindered their growth from that aspect. And if they can go back and, delegate some of that work. So, you as an agency owner, you have more time to do the other stuff that's important for business development. That's like a major thing that I've noticed many different agency owners doing that.
Yeah, no, just really quickly, I think for sure. I mean, that's exactly what I would do. But I also think that having experience of doing that, being in the weeds, of having to be, hands-on designing or whatever the service may be, SEO, Facebook ads, Google ads, knowing that whole thing in and out allows you to be able just to have really honest and really in-depth conversations with the client. And you're not just a salesperson being like, we do a good job of web design. Like, well, what does that mean? Like, well, we do some good stuff. You can start talking because you know everything. So I believe that part of that whole transition helped me out to kind of be in that whole field a lot more. But yeah.
I agree, it definitely helps, but I think at a certain point, some agencies are professionals and they don't need to really learn. They're still doing it,
sure,
as opposed to delegating. So once you know it, you start delegating, start working on business development. That's
1,000%. And then, with you guys, like, I didn't have to learn SEO. I didn't have to learn Google Ads. I kind of, I knew, like, I set up ads and some of the basics, but like using you guys, like, I don't have to worry about that anymore. It's like you guys handle SEO, Google ads, Facebook ads, like, for sure. So 100% agree. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, Logan, that's all I have for you today. Thank you for joining me and for your time. Thank you everyone for watching, and we'll see you next time in the Agency Owners Playbook. Thank you, everyone. Take care.
Awesome. Thanks, Paul.